'cause today's the day to look at the world in a different way, 'cause we're all in this together, and working we could make it better, caring for the water and the air we breathe, leaving enough for tomorrow's seed.
Today's presentation and gathering aim to share the history and significance of a special tradition established in 1971 at the United Nations in New York City. We are celebrating the 55th annual ringing of the Peacebell on the Vernal Spring Equinox, an event initiated by John McConnell and Margaret Mead with the support of then Secretary-General U Thant. This tradition is at the heart of the EarthSociety Foundation's mission, which continues to preserve and carry forward the legacy of past and future presentations.
Welcome. Welcome to Earthday. We're here for March 20. Today is Thursday. We are joining, we're here at the U, across from the UN. We're at the Ralph Bunche Park. And we would like to thank you all for joining us. We're going to be going live to Berlin at the moment of the equinox. For us, it'll be at 5:01 here in New York. You know, we're asking people just to join us. Our whole idea was the shared moment and with the equinox and a minute for peace, which we will be, again, we'll be live from Berlin, but we'll also be here live ringing our bells to celebrate Earth Day. So welcome to Earth Day. Okay, we're going to have a clip now for our introduction for Earth Day. I would like now to introduce some short video clips of John McConnell and his interviews over the years.
The first ever Earth Day was on March 21st, 1970. As shown here by the document, a proclamation from the mayor of San Francisco, California, proclaiming that March 21st, Vernal Equinox, be designated Earth Day.
Earth Day has become suddenly necessary to remind us of the fact that our small planet is perishable.
Hi, one of the main ideas for Earth Day is this Minute for Peace that is the focal point of our gathering, when people can gather together. And John McConnell's Minute for Peace had the goal of encouraging everyone around the world to take a minute to think about peace and to join together in thought. McConnell talked about the origin of the Minute for Peace and what it has accomplished. The period of mourning following President Kennedy's assassination was ended with a new dedication to peace through Minute for Peace. Secretary-General U Thant gave the first regular Minute for Peace message about the importance of peace being in the minds of the people before there can be peace in the world. And we all need to have peace in our hearts, peace with each other. Help us join for Minute for Peace and add your thoughts.
Mr. John McConnell from San Francisco.
Good morning, Marjorie. It's a delight to be here.
Well, it's very, very nice to have you. I know that you had a wonderful idea. It's called A Minute for Peace. Is that right?
That's right.
And now I'm going to turn the microphone over to you and ask you to tell us all about it, please.
The idea of Minute for Peace is to have people all over the world take at least 1 minute each day to think about peace, each in their own way, but to join to link their thoughts in a simultaneous moment that will be shared by people of goodwill all over the world. I believe that with this we can help create a climate that will be conducive to peace, and it will stimulate the actions and attitudes that are needed in the world today.
Well, there really ain't nothing to it. All we gotta do is do it. Realize today's the day to look at the world in a different way, 'cause we're all in this together, and working we could make it better. Caring for the water and the air we breathe, leaving enough for tomorrow's seed. We could save something for the children. We got to save something for the children. Before it's too late.
We're across the street from the UN, and the purpose of today's program is really we're here to reestablish the bell ring, this tradition that started by John McConnell, and we'll honor Margaret Mead, who was his great supporter and had helped getting a lot of the Nobel laureates, and of course Secretary-General U Thant, who actually rang the Peacebell in 1971 on March Equinox. And the idea is that McConnell's idea was that millions of people would be joining now at this special time, and it's a shared moment around the world.
Yes.
And we ring the bell twice a year. It's rung on the March Equinox, and then also in September, for September 21, International Day of Peace. And this is a global symbol that unites all of us here. And again, the UN was set up to prevent the scourge of war. 2025 is the 80th anniversary of the signing of the UN Charter. And peace is so important that we all need to keep being involved. Peace begins in the mind, and we're asking you all to join at this shared moment at 5:01. We'll ring the bell 3 times, and then we have a minute of silence for peace, justice, and care of Earth. So we now go to Heiner Banking in Germany. Hi, we're now going to go live to Berlin, where the Peacebell in Germany is located in East Berlin at the site of a lake. We've got Heiner Banking standing by to MC the ceremony live from Berlin. And Heiner is one of the mentors in the digital communication strategy and policy of Reinventing Democracy project. He worked with John McConnell in the 90s and was very influential in helping get Earth Day celebrated in Europe. We go now live to Berlin.
Good morning. I'm Heiner Banking in Berlin. We are at the Friedrichshain Peace Park. It's a people's park where a unique Peacebell is located, as dedicated by the Japanese government and in remembrance of the atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So it is a very special place, very cold still. We are ringing the bell at 10:01. I hope that it's a little bit warmer. And we are very happy that this Peacebell is in a public space. So the school children, the elders, all the citizens can join us and ring with us synchronously in Vienna, New York, Tokyo, the bell at the same time. It is Earthday, Equinox, the original Earthday conceived by John McConnell, and we have only once, maybe 10, 15 years ago, rang the bell here. Typically I attended it in Vienna, Geneva, New York, but a 55th anniversary in a place where the continents, like big stones, are in a circle, like at the UN sites in Vienna or New York, is a very special, unique place, and it's spring. That means spring equinox, which means the same time everywhere in the world it is starting to have the spring coming. Half a year later we have the autumn equinox, but now it's spring and we are all hoping to have the first flowers coming, or like in Japan, the cherry blossoming. It's a unique day. It's a sunny day. Normally we can have here snow, rain, winter, but now the spring and the colors of the flowers, and like in Japan or in Geneva you have cherry trees. You have here the beginning of hopefully a peaceful world and a great summer. So we are going to ring the bell now soon. We have still to do some preparations, but at least here we are on air in Berlin. Thank you and bye-bye.
Here live, we're a small group that are gathered here, so it's early in the morning for us. Again, the sun will be rising shortly. We've just done a ceremony with Frank Craven for the directions and putting a spiritual quality to our program. All of us are here because we're dedicated to peace, and at this point we want the whole world to be joining. Earth Day should be every day, but our choice was a holiday or a holy day on the spring equinox. And for us, we have carried out this tradition since 1971 here at the UN. And when we weren't allowed to ring the peace bell, like through COVID or whatever the restrictions were, we've always gathered here across the street within sight of the peace bell. And we share our hearts and heartfelt messages to the people of Earth. We're all in this together. We do need to end the scourge of war, what the United Nations was set up to do. So please remember that when we ring the bell at 5:01 a.m. here in New York, it'll be 10:01 a.m. in Berlin. We will also be going live to Berlin. We will be ringing our bells here, which will be followed by a minute of silence for peace, justice, and care of Earth. We now go to Heiner Banking in Germany.
We are live. We are here with Vern, who founded the society, and he will ring the bell first.
At 5:01. Join us for our minute of silence. The rest of our program, part of it is already pre-recorded. We have a series of speakers, people who've known John McConnell and worked with him, and they're going to share their experiences. We're going to be talking to Franz Narada in Vienna, where the Peacebell was set up in 1996, and they carry on a ceremony every year at the Peacebell in Vienna, Austria. Then we're going to speak with Rick Alfick of We the World, who has 11 Days of Global Unity and also celebrates a series of programs with his work. We'll be talking to Frank Hoffman of allcreatures.org, who had a relationship with John McConnell and they kept in touch. He's going to share his thoughts. We're going to have Brian Flaherty, a board member of the EarthSociety, be one of our speakers. And also Tams Nicholson, who has been we give her our thanks for helping us make this event possible today. And right now, let's go to our tape, and then we will be coming back here and we'll finish up our program with live music and thoughts from the people gathered here in New York. So thank you. Hi, we're now going to go to Vienna, Austria, where Franz Narada, who worked with the Global Village Project and worked with McConnell back in the 1990s. And the Peacebell was delivered and put in 1996 in Vienna, Austria. And McConnell went over there for that event. And Franz has been a big supporter and every year has been doing an event at the Peacebell in Vienna to mark Earthday on the Equinox. Here's Franz Narada.
Morning. My name is Franz Narada. I have convened the Earthday celebrations and Peacebell ringings at the United Nations in Vienna for 21 years, from 1997 to 2018. 21 years filled with wonderful encounters and beautiful highlights, but also, all in all, with a feeling of disappointment. While we were assuming that everyone must understand the simple message of Earthday, that there is only one planet we live on and one shared atmosphere that we breathe, the new millennium brought us slow but seemingly inexorable erosions of the very foundations on which a global covenant, as we thought, still was to be built. In an interplay of hybris and repercussions, the world started changing faster than we could ever dream of. And the incredible wisdom that the Earthday contains, seeking to bring the world together, seemed to fade away. Instead of friends and partners, countries began to act as adversaries and enemies again, communicate less and less possibilities and more red lines. We, the small community, which was faithful to the original Earthday idea, we almost lost hope and motivation to continue. And there were some external circumstances that changed a lot. That lasted until to that point that we reached now. Because now we are in a moment in which the pain and the perception of danger has become so strong that the only message that we finally could have in this situation is a renaissance of Earthday's core message. So what is this core message? Why are we so convinced of the truth that this tireless preacher John McConnell repeated again and again? Well, the core message is that there can be no separation between the behavioral, the social, and the environmental question. The answer to the behavioral question is peace and cooperation. The answer to the social question is sharing, not hoarding. And the answer to the environmental question is, of course, caring and regenerating the foundations of our life. You cannot save the climate if you do not also address war in the military. You cannot have peace if there are fundamental inequalities in this world. And you cannot have justice if people are excluded from the resources of the earth. This is why the original Earth Day mantra, peace, justice, and care for the earth, is not simply an enumeration of goals, but this mantra points us to a complex interplay to the foundations of a future worth living. And I'm thanking here in Vienna the NGO Committee on Peace that they helped us to rejuvenate Earth Day in this spirit. We know that wars can never be won. To quote German singer Reinhard May, it has become clear that war is destroying all humans, even those who seem to emerge unscathed, because war destroys the souls of humans. Every war does, and also the ones they sell us as inevitable and just. So what can we do? How can we bridge the gap to those who seem to be caught in what is known in psychology as the prisoner's dilemma? As you may know, the prisoner's dilemma is a situation where individual self-interest leads to a worse outcome for all, despite cooperation providing the optimal choice for everyone. The prisoners are separated and interrogated and offered a deal to betray each other for personal gain. And the deal works when distrust grows, the fear of being betrayed by the other. Now, it is no exaggeration to say that the whole world is in a prisoner's dilemma nowadays. They want to take away our power, so let's attack them first. You all know how universal this diabolic logic is. I'm not talking about anyone in particular, but about all of us. It is definitely not enough to celebrate Earth Day once a year, ring the bell, and so on. It will not do much. But it is good to feel that there are like-minded people around the world. But still, we are only a few. But I think there is an amazing possibility in this very brutal moment that history has bestowed upon us. We must answer the tendencies of absolute confrontation, and they exist like never before. Let's be clear about that. We must answer these tendencies of absolute confrontation with a vision of absolute cooperation. When I was starting Earth Day at the UN in the 90s, I was inspired by the vision of turning half of Austria's vast military training areas, more than 100 square kilometers in Altensteig, Waldviertel. Just half of it, into a world peace village, bringing together the best technical and ecological solutions from all over the world. This village should demonstrate that we can turn each corner of this planet into a paradise with shared knowledge and technology. And I was pretty much also inspired by John McConnell, who was with us at that time. And he always underlined the basic truth. There is no win-lose in true cooperation. We will all win from it, as we will all lose from confrontation. We have an incredible future ahead of us if we understand the breathtaking potential of deep cooperation, not just between humans, but also deep cooperation with nature. In every drop of water, there is an incredible miracle. And we can discover this miracle on all sides of the earth, share our knowledge by global communication. And this is the only way that, in my view, war can be made obsolete. I want to conclude my remarks by again turning our attention to the bell. Many indigenous people used sound to receive information from their environment, to communicate with each other, to heal and transform. They believed and still believe that sound is the creative, generative force that brought the universe into being. In vibrational medicine also, unique tones create the perfect condition for deep meditation, creative thinking, and intuitive messages. Pure sound waves emanating from singing bowls arouse our ability to hear with more than just our ears. We feel the sound of Tibetan singing bowls just as we help perceive our ears. It's a regeneration process connected with a spiritual awakening that could have a profound effect on illnesses, suffering in all aspects of our life. So, together with a cosmic message of a new cycle of creation, which my co-speakers will elaborate on, the equinox and the bell, they blend to one beautiful symbol and story. Thank you.
Well, we're now going to go to Rick Alfick of We the World. And I have known and worked with Rick for several decades here at the UN. We were both involved with the CCCUN, the Communications Coordination Committee. And Rick's idea was that we go from me to we, and we the world. And John McConnell supported his idea. He has this 11 days of global unity, where it starts on September 11 and goes to September 21. Each day is a different theme. And that's the other time that the Peacebell is rung here at the UN. And International Day of Peace on September 21, and the Earthday Equinox on the March 20 date. So here is Rick Alfick of We the World.
Thank you so much. I want to express deep gratitude and appreciation to Mary Carlin, the EarthSociety Foundation, Sky Phoenix, and everyone who is creating and participating in this inspiring and powerful event. My name is Rick Alfick, and I am the founder of We the World and the We campaign at we.net. I want to specifically recognize Mary Carlin and the EarthSociety Foundation for tirelessly working for decades to establish the annual ringing of the Peacebell on the spring equinox at the United Nations in New York City. The Peacebell ringing is a powerful symbol of global unity and peace. And continuing this tradition honors the legacy of John McConnell and Secretary-General U Thant. And Mary Carlin is there every year, rain or shine, to convene the Equinox Earthday celebration at whatever time of day or night the equinox occurs at. Thank you, Mary, for carrying forward John McConnell's original vision of launching Earth Day on the spring equinox as a global tradition. Mary, your dedication and commitment is an inspiration to me and all of us working to create a better world. Thank you so much. I founded We the World in 1998. We the World is an international coalition building organization that unites and promotes the efforts of people, organizations, and movements working for the common good. You can learn more about our 11 campaigns for change and take action with We the World by going to we.net. Every year, We the World supports and promotes Earth Day on the equinox as the start of what we call Earth Month, which culminates on Earth Day, celebrated on April 22nd. I want to recognize some of our other partners who also honor Earth Day on the equinox and produce powerful and inspiring programs during Earth Month. Andrew Kane and Planet Heart, who produce the annual World Peace Earth Day celebration. Paul Slatkus and Good News Planet, who do a major Earth Day program live in Times Square in New York City. Sue Blythe created the Climate Collaboratory for We the World and produces multiple programs for Earth Day during Earth Month. Mitchell Rabin and A Better World TV, who produces a major program each Earth Day. Lanny Smith, who is also known as Earthman, he records uplifting songs about the earth and the environment. And Tato Angelina Habaetsi, who leads We the World's Botswana chapter and leads our environment campaign. Together, we are happy to join in the global celebration of Earth Day on the equinox. This is a W. It's all about we, right? All of us together. So let's go from being a me society to a we society. That's why we launched we.net. So we can join Mary Carlin, the Earth Society Foundation, Sky Phoenix, and everyone around the world celebrating Earth Day on the equinox. Thank you all so much. Bye-bye.
Our next guest is Frank Hoffman of allcreatures.org. And he met John McConnell, several decades ago, and they kept up a correspondence. They would regularly talk to each other, chat back and forth. And I think that they had a religious and spiritual connection. But what they agreed on was for Earth Day and this equinox celebration, we should be building a base and like-mindedness and networking with people starting on what we can agree with. Frank is in Wisconsin, which is where I grew up, and we're now going to go to Frank Hoffman of allcreatures.org.
I met John McConnell over a quarter century ago. And we used to chat back and forth about peace and ringing the Peacebell on the vernal equinox, which is this year on March 20th. And there's a good point to that, because it sort of brings things into equality, because equal light, equal darkness, things like that. But the problem is, who's it bringing in? And that was one of the things that John and I talked about. We need to build the base. And there's a lot of people around, a lot of organizations that maybe don't focus on peace as the main issue, but they talk about things that lead to environmentalism, like Christian animal rights, veganism, and then you have other organizations that are dedicated to peace and others to the environment. And we were talking about all of these different things that were beginning to emerge in this country and around the world. And that's the thing that we needed. And I'm still not seeing it to this day. But that was the guiding light that John wanted to bring in. And I was working on that with him, because it's exactly what we do. We can bring peace to this world if we want to. Amen.
Well, our next guest is Brian Flaherty, who has been a personal friend of mine for 4 decades at least. And Brian has been involved with the EarthSociety Foundation since the mid-'80s. He is currently on the board, serves as our secretary-treasurer of the group, and has been a solid part of this whole organization throughout these many years, supporting us, adding his thoughts and help for each Earth Day that we put on. So here is Brian Flaherty.
Hello, and welcome to Earth Day 2025, which we celebrate on the day of the equinox, a global event heralding change. My name is Brian Flaherty, and I am the Secretary-Treasurer of the EarthSociety Foundation. I have been a member of the EarthSociety for 40 years, so I was fortunate enough to have known John McConnell, the founder, and worked around him and watched him work. And he worked tirelessly to keep things simple, tell the truth, and stick to his decisions. Continuity and consistency. John's greatest contributions were simple things that could be given free to others. Ideas and crusades from early in John's career matured into practices in the EarthSociety Foundation. His Star of Hope, a universal icon in the night sky, is exchanged for the Earth flag, immediately understood and now flown globally. A slogan, a mantra like "Think Global," act local, matures into a concept of the Earth Trustee, a collective of acknowledged trustees of our shared inheritance, the Earth. And most centrally, John's Minute for Peace, an act as reflexive and personal as a daily prayer, transformed into the joyful and universal annual celebration, Earth Day. Which brings us here, to Earth Day at the United Nations. For over 50 years, the Earth Society has strived to maintain and perpetuate a potent ritual, the striking of a Japanese bronze bell in a Shinto shrine at the first moment of spring and autumn. A summoning of peace at the convocation of countries, because it's understood that in every war, the Earth is always the loser. The choice of the United Nations is not arbitrary. 50 years ago, the people whom John McConnell most desired to receive his message were world leaders, those with the power to effect change. He wished his ideas might resonate with them like the gong of the great bell. And from those with the greatest power to those with the least power, children. Time and again, children and child choruses were participants in the Earth Day event as reminders to all that they are the future, that are central to humanity's covenant with this great world. This is what the Earth Society is endeavoring to keep alive. Happy Earth Day to all.
Our next guest now is Tams Nicholson, and we met her through Frank Hoffman of allcreatures.org. She's their executive director, and she is a technical director extraordinaire who has volunteered her time and energy pro bono to help us this year in making this presentation so successful. So we thank you again, Tams, and here she is.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We thank our dignitaries in attendance and each of you watching this important moment in history. It is an honor to be here on the equinox of March 20, 2025, and be a part of the ringing of the Peacebell when day and night fall into balance. I am Tams Nicholson, the Executive Director of allcreatures.org and a member of the Earth Society Foundation. Allcreatures.org promotes dignity, respect, and peace for all of the Creator's creatures, and in adopting these nonviolent actions, we create environmental sustainability. The ringing of the Peacebell today is more than just a few minutes of our time. As we come together from all over the world, we can agree that we not only need peace in this moment, but in each and every moment. John McConnell believed that creating a peaceful world starts from within. When we maintain a daily minute conducive of peace in our hearts and minds to stimulate the actions and attitudes needed to manifest peaceful decisions in our lives and in the world. When President John F. Kennedy gave his famous speech on June 10, 1963, he pointed out a difficulty. The pursuit of peace is not as dramatic as the pursuit of war, and frequently the words of the pursuers fall on deaf ears. In our current world where much is sensationalized, it is easy again to be distracted by the dramatic and lose hope in peace. Yet, we all know that successful social change sometimes first sits far away on the horizon. And then comes painstakingly, from one person at a time, one moment at a time, one decision at a time, and slowly builds momentum to create a harmonious new future. Thus, it is our responsibility as citizens of Earth to start taking the time. Please join me in a personal commitment to cultivate a minute of peace in one's heart and mind from this day forward, and encourage those around us to do the same. Then join the EarthSociety Foundation again next year on the equinox for the next ringing of the peace bell. And for those of us who make this change and commitment, we immediately create change within ourselves and then the world by removing one set of formerly closed ears. Peace be with you.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you again. We're back here live in New York. It's still dark out. I'm going to introduce Frank Craven, who's been playing guitar for us and has a few things to say.
Hi, I've been friends with John and McConnell and Mary many years, and part of the Pachamama Alliance, the indigenous cultures, and we have eco-friendly energy solutions to fossil fuel industry pollutions. We're a Pachamama Alliance. The world throughout history has provided free, clean energy, and there's no more war before. This is the flag. We're one human species, and we have to learn to get along to work with our intergalactic league of other worlds or beyond our atmosphere. And as Nikola Tesla had 100 years ago, free, clean energy. And throughout our history, we have free, clean energy and no need to fight. So thank you for sharing. And we're going to sing a song now, right?
Right.
Let's sing together.
Yeah, we're going to close our program with This Land Is Your Land. But I just want to make a final summary just to say, again, this is a tradition that we're going to keep alive. It's important. Love is important. All of you, thank you for joining us. We will have an edited version on our YouTube channel later. But I also want to say, please go to our website, earthsocietyfoundation.org, and we encourage you to be a member. Join us. You can get a flag. There's some other products I'm sure will be available. But I would also use this time to now say, prepare for next year. We will be back at the UN. We will be ringing the peace bell. Earth Day is going to be on March 20, 2026. It's going to be a Friday. And here in New York, it'll be at 10:46 a.m., which is a better time for us to be gathering. We'll have a big crowd. We'll be live from the UN ringing the peace bell as our tradition has been established. Okay, and now we just want to thank everybody for coming and join us with This Land Is Your Land. Peace.
I went walking down the river
highway. I saw above me that endless skyway, and all around the Golden Valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. I rambled, I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts, and all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking, I saw a sign there, and on that sign it said, no trespassing. But on the other side, it didn't say nothing. And that sign was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. All right, thank you once again, and happy Earth Day. Yay. Okay, again, please join us and visit our website, EarthSocietyFoundation.org, and become a member and share your thoughts for peace.
Thank you.
Right.
We got to stay